My son saved his allowance for 6 months to buy his poor teacher groceries. I only found out when Mrs. Rivera called me in tears, explaining how my 8-year-old had shown up at her apartment with $97 worth of food. The story that unfolded showed me just how blind I'd been to what was happening right in front of me. It started with small comments at dinner. Mrs. Rivera's tummy growls during math. Sometimes Ethan mentioned casually between bites. I nodded, barely listening as I scrolled through work emails. When he asked if teachers made lots of money, I mumbled something about professional salaries without looking up. What I missed was my son connecting dots I'd never noticed. He'd seen Mrs. Rivera wearing the same 3 outfits all year. Noticed how she never bought lunch but brought the same peanut butter sandwich daily. Observed how she split her apple with students who forgot snacks even when her stomach audibly growled. Meanwhile, I complained about inflation while buying $7 late. I griped about my bonus being smaller this year while ordering DoorDash 3 times a week. My son heard everything when I asked Ethan about his missing allowance money, part usually spent immediately on Farfig cards, part he'd shrug and say he was saving for something important. I assumed it was a video game and praised his newfound financial discipline. The truth emerged when Mrs. Rivera called me sobbing on a Tuesday evening. My son had asked for her address to deliver a class project. Instead, he arrived with 4 grocery bags from Aldi, carefully selected based on what he'd seen in her lunch bag: bread, peanut butter, apples, pasta, and canned soup. I didn't want you to be hungry anymore, he told her simply. My mom says everyone deserves to eat even if they don't have enough money. I felt physically sick hearing this. Those were indeed my words, parents spoken while donating canned goods during the holidays for a tax write-off, never imagining my son was applying them to someone in our immediate circle. When I picked Ethan up from school the next day, I watched more carefully. Mrs. Rivera's cardigan had worn through elbows. Her shoes were cracked and peeling. The classroom supplies clearly came from her own pocket purse, the colorful decorations all handmade, not store-bought. That evening, I asked Ethan how he knew Mrs. Rivera needed help. His answer floored me. She's like Drama before you helped her, he said. She my mother who'd lived with us after Dad died until she got back on her feet. She's trying real hard to be okay, but grown-ups forget to eat when they're worried about money. I called the principal the next morning and learned that first-year teachers in our district make just $34,000 parent, barely above poverty level in our city. Most worked second jobs. Mrs. Rivera didn't have that option because she cared for her elderly mother after school that weekend. I organized a classroom supply refresh with other parents. No one questioned it. We all just opened our wallets, ashamed we hadn't noticed sooner. But it was my son who thought to include grocery store gift cards in the supply boxes, insisting they were for brain fuel. At the next parent-teacher conference, Mrs. Rivera tried to thank me. I stopped her immediately. I did nothing, I admitted. My son saw what I missed completely. He's the one who actually lives the values I only talk about. Yesterday, Ethan announced he wants to be a teacher when he grows up. When I mentioned the teachers don't make much money, he looked confused. But they make people smart, he said. That's worth more than money. I've never felt smaller or prouder in my entire life.